10 years ago, the world went through a zombie apocalypse. Now, in the present day, things haven't improved much. In fact, zombies have evolved into different types. The dumb ones are called homers. They're slow and do ridiculous things like getting their tongues stuck to ice, which makes them easy to kill. Then there are the smart ones, known as Hawkings, capable of planning and problem-solving, like using a dead scientist's eye to open a door with an iris scanner. Finally, there are ninja zombies, sneaky, silent, and able to surprise their victims without being noticed. In Washington, D.C., a group of 4 survivors has managed to stay alive for over a decade: Tallahassee, Wichita, her boyfriend Columbus, and her younger sister Little Rock. Together, they've become a perfectly synchronized team. Moving through the countryside, they wipe out hordes of zombies with precision, killing them before they can even come close. After another intense battle, they finally clear the area and head to the White House, which they decide to make their new home. The first few days go great. They have fun together, redecorate the place to fit their personalities, and even celebrate Little Rock's birthday. Tallahassee has become a father figure to her, protective and caring, but Little Rock is getting tired of being treated like a child. She wants to be around people her own age and craves freedom. Tallahassee just doesn't understand that. A few weeks later, Tallahassee decides to celebrate Christmas in November, giving Little Rock a gun that once belonged to Elvis Presley. But she's disappointed, tired of always receiving weapons as gifts. Frustrated, she storms off to shoot some zombies. Later, in the bedroom, Columbus surprises Wichita with a ring and proposes to her. Wichita panics. She believes all marriages eventually end in divorce, so Columbus gives her time to think about it. The next morning, the guys discover that both sisters have left, leaving behind only a vague note. On the road, the sisters drive through the country in Tallahassee's modified car, agreeing that they probably got too attached. Suddenly, they spot someone ahead. Little Rock prepares to shoot, but it turns out to be a normal human around her age named Berkeley. A month later, Tallahassee and Columbus are at a mall, trying to keep themselves entertained. Right then, a zombie appears. Tallahassee throws a bottle of liquor, shoots it midair, and finishes off the creature in style. Columbus is impressed but jokes that it's still not the zombie kill of the year, which currently belongs to a farmer who ran over a zombie with a tractor, turning it into a cube of hay. Later, Columbus walks into a candle store and fires his gun after hearing a noise, only to find a cheerful girl named Madison. Overjoyed to see another human, she hugs him tightly. Columbus invites her back with them, ignoring Tallahassee's protests. Back at the White House, they quickly realize Madison isn't very bright. But Columbus, desperate for company, doesn't seem to care. That night, Tallahassee hears a noise and goes to investigate, firing at the first sign of movement, narrowly missing Columbus. Together, they go check and are shocked to find Wichita in the garage. She explains that she came back for more weapons and that Little Rock is gone. She's fallen for Berkeley, a musician and pacifist who survives by avoiding fights. Tallahassee panics, worried his little girl is in danger. Little Rock and Berkeley planned to go to Graceland, but Wichita disagreed, so they left while she was sleeping. Wichita is deeply concerned because her sister is traveling unprotected, and Berkeley mentioned a new kind of zombie, tougher and faster than before. Tallahassee declares that he and Columbus will help her find Little Rock, ignoring Wichita's wish to go alone. She apologizes to Columbus for leaving earlier, only to be interrupted by Madison, which makes Wichita jealous and cold toward him. Once they're ready to leave, Tallahassee freaks out when he learns Wichita arrived in a minivan, calling it unmanly. Still, they have no other choice. Working vehicles are rare these days. Madison insists on joining them, worsening Wichita's jealousy, and they leave most of Madison's things behind since their rule is to travel light. Meanwhile, Little Rock and Berkeley continue their journey together. She shoots at random objects for fun. As they drive, the car fills with smoke, and he sings love songs to her. Back with Columbus's group, Madison reveals she took the engagement ring from the nightstand, which annoys Wichita even more. Columbus and Wichita argue until Tallahassee suddenly brakes hard, sending Madison flying forward into the seat. They notice a fancy tour bus nearby and decide to switch vehicles. During the ride, Columbus and Wichita keep bickering until Madison accidentally triggers the bus alarm, attracting a horde of zombies. Falling back on their old teamwork, Columbus climbs onto the roof and fires while giving directions. One by one, the zombies drop before they can reach the group, their years of practice paying off. Only one zombie remains. Tallahassee shoots it repeatedly, but it doesn't go down. Realizing it's the new evolved kind, Columbus names it T-800 after the Terminator. Tallahassee keeps firing with no luck, finally smashing its head to kill it. He then paints a 3 on the bus door, a tradition before they drive off again. But soon, the bus runs over nails, blowing the tires, forcing them back into the dreaded minivan. A while later, as they snack and chat, Madison suddenly becomes violently ill. Tallahassee pulls over, and she runs out to vomit. While they argue about what to do, Columbus insists he doesn't want her to suffer, but the others remind him that turning into a zombie is far worse. Resigned, Columbus walks into the woods and finds Madison in bad shape. Moments later, a gunshot echoes, shocking Wichita and Tallahassee. The rest of the drive is quiet and tense. That night, they finally arrive at Graceland, only to find it destroyed and abandoned. Disappointed, they continue on until they spot the Hound Dog Hotel, with Tallahassee's old car parked outside. Excited, they rush in. While Wichita searches for Little Rock, Tallahassee can't help but geek out over all the Elvis memorabilia. He even puts on Elvis's shoes and starts playing the piano, only to be suddenly hit by a woman named Nevada, who points a gun straight at him. Fortunately, Wichita and Columbus arrive just in time to save Tallahassee and ask Nevada about Little Rock. Nevada explains that Little Rock and Berkeley left in search of Babylon, a hippie safe haven said to be free of zombies. However, Babylon has one big problem: there are no weapons allowed inside. That could be dangerous, especially since a group of zombies has been following Berkeley's car. Later that night, Tallahassee and Nevada share a few drinks and flirt heavily. Tallahassee even shows off his best Elvis impression, and the two end up spending the night together. The next morning, Berkeley and Little Rock finally reach Babylon, where Little Rock is forced to hand over her weapons. A man melts them down to make a pendant, since the community prides itself on peace and harmony. The place seems safe, surrounded by high walls and a tall central tower. Back at the hotel, Tallahassee wakes Nevada to show off his Elvis outfit, but their moment is interrupted by the sound of a loud horn outside. They rush out to find a monster truck parked right on top of Tallahassee's beloved car. Furious, he storms over to confront the driver, a man named Albuquerque, who happens to be one of Nevada's friends. As Tallahassee and Albuquerque argue, everyone else notices how similar they are, like exaggerated versions of each other. Moments later, another man named Flagstaff steps out of the truck. He's Albuquerque's travel buddy and looks just like Columbus, even carrying his own list of survival commandments. A childish argument breaks out among the four men as they compete to impress the women, but Nevada eventually calms them down. Albuquerque and Flagstaff reveal they returned because the area has been overrun by T-800 zombies. Before anyone can respond, strange noises come from outside. The two men rush out and quickly take down a few zombies, returning moments later to brag, until Nevada spots a bite mark on Albuquerque's arm. He tries to claim it's just a tattoo, but then suddenly vomits blood. Flagstaff does the same, confirming they've both been infected. Within seconds, they turn into zombies, forcing the group into another brutal fight. Nevada fires her gun, but the bullets barely slow the T-800s. Finally, Tallahassee smashes Albuquerque's head with a guitar, while Nevada shoots Flagstaff in the head to finish him off. Catching their breath, Tallahassee jokes that this might be the zombie kill of the year, but Columbus insists the one in Italy was better, a guy who lured zombies with mannequins and then dropped the Leaning Tower of Pisa on them. Before leaving, Tallahassee shares a kiss with Nevada and gives her an Elvis ring as a keepsake. He tries to drive the monster truck but fails miserably, so they're forced to continue in the minivan once again. Hours later, while Wichita tries to fix things with Columbus, they suddenly spot an ice cream truck, driven by Madison, who's still alive. It turns out Columbus never actually shot her, she'd only had a nut allergy. Grateful but clueless as ever, Madison rejoins the group, much to Wichita's annoyance. By morning, the group finally arrives at Babylon. Thinking it could be their new home, Tallahassee blows up the minivan as a symbolic farewell. Though he hates the idea of giving up his guns, he's desperate to see Little Rock again. Once their weapons are melted down, the group is welcomed inside and happily reunited with her. Little Rock apologizes for leaving but admits that they might not fit in at Babylon. It's too peaceful for people like them. Seeing his little girl grown up, Tallahassee decides it's time to move on and start fresh somewhere else. Later that night, as he drives away in a truck, he suddenly hits a zombie. To his horror, the creature gets back up. It's another T-800. Then, he spots an enormous horde of them charging straight toward Babylon. Tallahassee races back to warn everyone, shouting for them to cut the music and fireworks. With no weapons to fight back, Tallahassee quickly comes up with a plan, using biodiesel from the tower to make a massive bomb. Everyone joins in, building the explosive and preparing shields out of metal scraps. They tear down one of the walls and set up fireworks to lure the zombies closer. When the horde arrives, they ignite the fuel, triggering a fiery explosion that wipes out the first wave. But another horde soon follows, forcing the survivors to fight with shovels and improvised weapons. They kill several zombies, but the swarm keeps growing. Just when it seems hopeless, Tallahassee declares this is the end. The group shares emotional goodbyes, hugging each other tightly, until suddenly, the sound of a roaring engine cuts through the chaos. Nevada arrives in the monster truck, plowing through the undead and rescuing them just in time. She drives like a maniac, crushing zombies left and right as the truck spins in circles, creating a zombie tornado. Then, she rams the truck up a wall, flips it in midair, and crashes down on even more zombies. Eventually, the truck breaks down, and the group makes a run for the tower. Madison and Berkeley throw objects from above to clear the path, while the rest fight their way up the stairs using Nevada's gun and anything they can grab. At the rooftop, the survivors line up with their shields, forming a corridor to guide the zombies toward the edge. Everyone retreats, except Tallahassee, who runs forward as bait. He leaps at the last second, grabbing a crane as the zombies charge off the roof to their deaths. Columbus cheers, calling it the zombie kill of the century. But a couple of zombies cling to Tallahassee's leg. Before anyone can react, Little Rock shoots them with a gun Tallahassee gave her for Christmas, proving she kept his gift all along. Father and daughter finally reconcile. Wichita says yes to Columbus's proposal, and he slips the ring on her finger before they share a kiss. Nevada and Tallahassee follow suit, kissing passionately. Madison and Berkeley also kiss, until a Homer zombie stumbles in, only to trip and die instantly. The night ends with fireworks and laughter as the survivors celebrate. The original four, Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock, drive off with Nevada in a new fancy car, heading toward whatever comes next. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.